What's your name?
Gawa.
How old are you?
2.
How old are you in Spanish?
I don't remember.
Huh?
My name is Hurley. I'm 5, single. And I made sorpresa.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Ryan. We are here at El Rincon, just outside of Los Angeles, Chile, helping another family run a bed and breakfast, and then on the off season we travel. The cool thing about helping run a bed and breakfast is that we get to meet people who are doing the very thing that we love. Well, you never know what kind of people you're going to meet or what kind of connections you're making.
Hi, I'm Louise. I also work here at the Bed and Breakfast. My main project at the moment is designing, planting, and maintaining the garden, which once was conventional and now will be a permaculture design. This garden is where we're going to feed all of our guests our delicious organic foods. Also, I'm an educator of all things natural. I run a business through doTERRA, which is a health and wellness company. It's a really rewarding job because not only does it allow me the freedom to travel as long and as often as we want, it's also rewarding in a way that I get to help people and coach them and walk them through natural proactive healthcare.
We certainly are. I've been in Spain for a month, Costa Rica for 45 days, and in Canada for 6 days. And we traveled in our RV through the whole entire United States. And ahora we're in Chile.
So it's brought our family together that I get to spend so much time with them. These little rugrats.
When our kids are like involved in that moment and they're interested at that time, that's when they're really going to learn. That's when they're really going to soak in the information versus just like reading stuff in a book and memorizing things for like a standardized test.
I've never seen my kids learn so much in such a small amount of time.
I like the fact that we get to teach our kids that they don't need things to be happy, right? That experiences are way more important and more beneficial.
When we take big trips in Chile, we have to go on a bus for a very long time. And when Mommy sometimes tells me to sleep and I don't want to do it.
I'm going to have to say the language barrier, because knowing a little bit of Spanish, you can tell people what you're trying to get, and you can do a mix of charades, but it's hard to explain to people exactly what you're looking for sometimes.
I'm going to have to go with the food situation. So we're really into knowing about the foods that we're eating and eating super healthy. But a really big part about traveling is getting to experience all the different foods from around the world. So we do our best to try to find the balance between being super picky and really healthy and eating empanadas fried in vegetable oil, or having cake for breakfast, because that's just what they do here. There is a balance. The hard part can just be finding it. Our method of choice is to unschool, meaning no real form of anything, but for the sake of being in South America and wanting the kids to learn Spanish as quickly, easily, and as fun as possible, we decided to immerse them directly into a Spanish-speaking Montessori preschool. We love the philosophies of Maria Montessori and tend to practice them in our home anyways.
We've done a lot of dangerous things like jumping out of airplanes, backflipping off random things, handstanding in crazy places. But the most daring thing that we've done is to move our whole entire family to a country where we don't really speak the language and we've never even been to. I'd say that's a pretty big feat. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into until we got here and dove right in.
Our children, hands down. We know that the world desperately needs free-spirited, independent souls that are here to protect the planet and live with it versus against it, right? We hear people constantly talking about leaving a better planet for our kids. But what about leaving better kids for our planet? I lost my dad at the young age of 51. He was 34 when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And although he was pretty active, there was lots of stuff that he didn't get to do. Specifically, when we planned his skydiving trip, we finally had a date set and we went to go do it, and the doctor told us no, that his body couldn't handle it. Well, my dad died 3 years ago, and we've been on the road for 2. But we learned the hard way, life is short. There's no time to waste. So we would love to inspire other people to do the same. Just go ahead and get out there and do it.
Being in the military for 6 years, there came a point where my life didn't feel like it was my own because they controlled so many different aspects of it. I would like to be an example for those of you that feel stuck, that if you make a plan and stick to your plan, that you can get out of the rat race and you can achieve your dreams.
Okay, so I think one of the most important things is sleep. So just like we adults get grumpy when we are tired, so do kids. So we like to do things like plan around nap time, try not to skip nap time. Also, take like a day or two in between events. So too much stimulation can also be counterproductive. So instead of saying, okay, day 1 we're gonna do this, day 2 this, day 3 this, day 4 this, each day try to say day 1 do this, take a break, day 3 do this, take a break, or something like that.
Or to reach out to the people that are already there, that know the area, that can show you around, that can let you in on a little piece of information that you didn't know, or some things that a tourist guide won't tell you.
Probably like the coolest part of our traveling is that we get to know the locals. So not only will this make your trip cheaper, as they don't tend to hang out in overpriced tourist traps, it will also make it more authentic and educational. We always have a little bit of food on hand when we travel. Much like lack of sleep, kids can get very grumpy and irritable when they don't have food. Being hangry is really a very real thing. One of our go-tos is like cooking chicken and just having chicken in Tupperware and bringing that with us because we don't really mind eating it cold. Carrots, nut butter, boiled eggs.
So when you're traveling, everything's changing. So what we found helps too is to have a little routine or something that the kids are used to doing. So we always do a story before bed, no matter where we are or what we're doing. We always read a book before bed. And
I think that we should always give the kids like some control over things. So allow them to have consideration in the decision-making process. And I think that, well, at least for us, we're met with like less resistance. Their voice, their opinions matter, and we want to make sure that they know that.
It's good to have set plans and a schedule, but if something doesn't go right, don't stress yourself out over it. Just make the changes.
Bring toilet paper with you everywhere you go. For our youngest, Stella, she's as free-spirited and wild as they come. This can be very difficult, as many cultures, including our own, don't understand or necessarily agree with giving children the amount of freedom that we give ours. Yes, she dresses herself looking like a hoodlum most days. She has 4 dreads because she wants them, and actually even wants 4 more. She uses her own knife and climbs really big trees. And most importantly, she throws tantrums because she wants more independence. And although I can't really blame her, as I was a wild one myself, I can oftentimes feel lost with what to do with her. With our oldest, Hurley, who is 5, almost 6, it has been the emotional roller coaster that she has been on. She loves traveling, very much so. But just like her mama, she's a social butterfly, and she really misses having her friends that she had back in California. Sometimes her sadness turns into anger, and we are doing our best to let her know that those feelings suck. They do. But they are normal, and it's okay to have them as long as we are learning how to handle them in healthy ways. The best quality was the fact that I'm really passionate about things, and I am. And I like to stay true to the things that I believe in. My worst quality, what I was told, was that passion can also be looked at as like a double-edged sword, right? So not everyone always agrees, some of the activism I've been involved in. And I guess I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist. It kind of comes with the passion. I'm a go big or go home type of person.
Louis said my best quality is that I'm loving, and then I take care of the family.
You're our rock.
I guess I'm the rock.
He holds us all together.
Worst quality, I have Project ADD, where I get really excited about something, which leads me into something else, and I get really excited about that. I get everything done eventually, but definitely on my own time.
This is kind of awkward to say because not really a lot of people know this about me. But when I was 16, I spent my sweet 16th birthday party in rehab, actually. When my dad got sick, I took it really hard. My dad and I were really close, and that's the way that I handled it.
Looking at me now, this sweet beard, I would say you wouldn't be able to tell that I spent the last 6 years in the military.
Antarctica.
What's the reason you'd like to go to Antarctica?
Baby penguins.